What if that dream job offer that just landed in your inbox wasn't a dream at all? What if it was actually a Trojan horse? Well, we're going to break down a real-life LinkedIn scam, step by step. We're going to show you exactly how one single super tempting message can spiral into a total cybersecurity nightmare.
Okay, just imagine getting this message. $15,000 to $20,000 a month, fully remote. That is top-tier FANG guru money right there. So the developer in this story, he read it, and then he read it again, thinking, is this for real? Is this my lucky day? But a part of him already knew something smelled fishy, very fishy. So let me ask you, you get this exact message. What do you do? I mean, the offer's almost impossible to ignore, right? So do you just delete it, thinking, yeah, right, scam? Or do you play along, just in case? Well, our developer, he decided to see just how deep this rabbit hole went.
And oh boy, the moment he replied, the red flags started popping up everywhere. This wasn't just one little thing. It was a whole cascade of seriously suspicious behavior.
So, first up, red flag number 1, the time zone just didn't add up. The recruiter's profile said he was in Brazil, and he agrees to a technical assessment at 2 a.m. UTC on a Saturday. Okay, fine, but a quick little time zone check reveals a huge problem. 2 a.m. UTC is 11 p.m. on a Friday night in Brazil. I mean, what recruiter is working at 11 p.m. on a Friday night for a first-round interview? Yeah, highly unlikely.
Then you have red flag number 2. The recruiter just completely vanishes. The meeting time arrives, our developer messages, hey, ready to go? And gets nothing back. Crickets. Complete silence. Then, get this, 12 hours later, the recruiter just casually drops the assessment link into the chat. No apology, no explanation. For a job supposedly paying 20 grand a month? No way. That is just not how professionals operate.
And then there was the location of the test. Red flag number 3. The real company, LivePeer, they have over 200 public code repositories on GitHub. It's their home base, their digital headquarters. But this assessment, it was hosted on some random, lonely Bitbucket account with just one single repository. That's kind of like a Coca-Cola executive telling you to show up for an interview at a bowling alley instead of their world headquarters. It doesn't add up.
And this one, oh man, this is a big one. Red flag number 4 really gets to the heart of the scam. The instructions were simple. Just download this project and run it on your own computer. Now, anyone in tech knows that's not how it works. Real interviews use secure online coding platforms. There is literally no legit company on earth that says, hey, just download our mystery code and execute it on your machine, trust me, bro. That's not a test. That's a delivery system for something nasty. And just to top it all off, the task itself made absolutely no sense for this person. The assessment was a front-end drawing challenge, but our developer's entire profile screams back-end engineer. It was so obvious they hadn't read a single word about him, and that, right there, is a huge sign of a wide-net scam. They didn't care who he was. They just needed a warm body, any developer, to click run. Okay, so at this point, our developer is 100% convinced this is a scam. But he's also curious, so he decides to investigate. But there is no way he's doing this on his main computer. Absolutely not. Instead, he pulls out a sandbox laptop, an old machine with nothing important on it, to safely pop the hood on this so-called assessment and see what's really inside.
So when you're looking at a piece of code from a source this sketchy, what's the very first thing a suspicious developer is going to do? Before running anything, before even thinking about it, there's one file you absolutely have to check. Any guesses?
They check the package.json file. If you're not a developer, just think of it like the list of ingredients on a food label. It tells you every single thing that's inside this software project, all the external tools and libraries it needs to run. It is the first and honestly the best place to spot something that doesn't belong.
And boom, there it is, the smoking gun. Right there in the list of dependencies. You've got the normal stuff you'd expect for a drawing app like Canvas and React. But then, sitting right there in the list is something called exec. An exec is a module that does one thing. It executes system commands on your computer. So you have to ask yourself, why in the world would a simple drawing app need the power to run commands on my machine?
Digging even deeper, he found the real smoking gun. He opened up this configuration file that looked totally innocent, just a couple of lines of text. But then he turned on word wrap in his code editor, and what looked like one line just exploded. It unraveled into hundreds and hundreds of lines of jumbled, unreadable JavaScript, all crammed onto a single line to hide it. This is a classic malware trick. It's called obfuscation, and it's designed to hide the code's true purpose.
Once he managed to untangle that mess, the malware's game plan became crystal clear. Here's what it was designed to do. Step 1, decode itself. Step 2, fingerprint the victim's machine. It grabs your username, your computer's name. Step 3, it phones home to the scammer's server to download the next payload. And finally, Step 4, it executes the real malware. See, this whole assessment was just the delivery boy.
So this whole elaborate setup, it's not some brand new genius invention. The scammers were actually just running a very classic playbook, combining a couple of well-known attack methods. First off, this is called spear phishing. This isn't your normal, everyday spam that goes out to millions of people. No, this is targeted. The attacker looked at our developer's profile, saw he worked in tech, and crafted the absolute perfect bait for him. It's like phishing, but with a laser sight aimed right at one specific person.
And the malware itself? That's a classic Trojan horse. It's exactly like the story from Greek mythology. The bad guys, the malware, were hidden inside something that looked like a gift, a harmless technical assessment. And then you, the user, you're tricked into dragging it inside your city walls, opening the gates, and running it yourself.
All right, so that was a pretty scary but also fascinating look inside this scam. So the big question is, how do you keep yourself safe? Let's break down some really simple, actionable advice.
Okay, so how do you not get owned? First, and this is crucial, if you ever have to run code you don't trust, always use a sandbox. A virtual machine, an old laptop you don't care about, whatever. Just keep it isolated. Second, read that package.json file first. It literally takes 30 seconds. Third, and maybe most important, trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it is. And finally, just remember, no legit $20,000 a month job offer is so fragile that it's going to disappear because you took some basic precautions.
In the end, what saved our developer here wasn't some elite hacking skills, right? It was just a healthy dose of paranoia and the simple act of staying alert. So the next time you see an offer that just seems to have fallen right out of the sky, I want you to remember this story and ask yourself, is this gold or is it just bird shit and rain?